Welcome to the MBU Coaches Show. I'm Drew Frey alongside Coach Sam Pearson. Sam, you guys are coming off of 2 wins against Harris Stowe and
Hannibal LaGrange.
Yeah. How's that feel?
Well, it feels good. It feels good to be on the first win streak of the entire season. Being able to stack up a couple of conference wins feels great. Winning the Harris Stowe in a rowdy environment, kind of an unorthodox game, man. We had gotten stuck on Highway 64 East for about an hour and a half. You know, what is a 14-minute drive or so down the road, man. We had gotten stuck, so we had to push the game back. Had a little less time to warm up prior to the game. But we were still able to lock in, come out with a victory. Obviously it's an inter-town rival, so they play hard as heck when Mobap's in the town, man. So it felt good, to get one then. And for a lot of our girls, that was their first time playing against Harris Stowe. And then Hannibal here at home on Saturday. Coach Kelly's been doing it for a while. And she's always got her teams are always going to be gritty. No quitting those squads. So it felt good to to get a little deeper down the bench. Get some of our players who don't play as many minutes. Get them some really fortunate minutes, and be able to build on that. So 2-0 for that week, man, and it's on in Arkansas, man, here. So it doesn't get any easier.
You mentioned it, going into Arkansas for the next 2 games.
Yeah.
How's that? So the first one, Walnut Ridge,
yeah,
half-hour drive.
Yeah.
How are you going to prepare for that, or do you guys?
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. Coach John Mayberry, man, is an incredible coach, man. He's got a really talented and much improved group this year. A couple of twins with Carmen and Sharman Taylor. He's got a second team all conference player in Clark returning. So man, he's got some players who's gonna play a fast tempo. Really talented offensively. They get up and guard it full court defensively. And Walnut Ridge is a tough place to play, man. So, man, we got our hands full Thursday night. We're gonna leave, head down there Wednesday, and then stay, on a 4-day trip. Ended in Conway with CBC. Who's always Coach Lau. Brings out a good good tempo, hard working group as well. It's an Arkansas trip that we should come out 2-0. Man, it would really turn our season around, to be 2-0, to come out 2-0. But man, it's about one possession at a time, being the best version of ourselves, guarding it, sharing it, scoring it, and have tunnel vision, man. I feel like, tunnel vision's kind of been our motto here recently. I feel like, our highs are too high and our lows are too low. We got to stay locked into the next play. You can only win the game with all double zeros left in the fourth, but you can lose it before that. So man, we just got to we got to stay locked in, man. Take one possession at a time, man, and gear up, man, for a really big Arkansas trip here coming up.
And so after Arkansas, you guys return home for a game against Stevens. That would be the first game of the second half of the conference schedule. How does that change the way you go into games playing them before?
Yeah, well, we have a new group this year. So there's 6 or 7 of them who haven't seen some of the conference opponents. So to get everybody, to have now played everybody at least once, after the conclusion of this week. We now know what to expect. Obviously the top of the conference is a bear, and those teams up in Columbia, but I think that, I think we let a couple of get away from us, and in Pharmacy we had down, in Cotty where we just went out and laid an egg down in Nevada, so I think that we now know what to expect. We now know how to prepare. I now know what adjustments to make. For each opponent. And I think that we've now kind of figured ourselves out as well, too. So we're looking forward to the second half of the conference season, but without looking too far ahead, man, we got to take care of Arkansas first, and gear this thing up, man. take each opponent one at a time, and see where we may fall, later on in the standings, man.
Good luck the rest of this week and have fun in Arkansas.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
We'll be back right after this with Kevin and Coach Preston. Welcome back to the Coach's Show. That's Preston Ingram. I'm Kevin Paulus, and Coach, had a good week. We talked last Wednesday, so the only game that you guys played was Harrisville on Thursday. Never an easy place to play, but you guys get the win.
No, without a doubt. Like, this is only our second win since we've been here, over there at Harrisville, and the crowds are always live, and it's always energetic, and it's hard to hear. And man, they came out of the gates, played really, really well. That's 2 years in a row for them to do that. And so, I thought our guys did a really good job of just maintaining the storm. And just kind of continue to chop and chop and chop and chop and get through the tides of what they were kept hitting us with. And, we made some halftime adjustments. And I thought our guys' engagements was about as good as they were all year in a hostile environment on the road, and starting off this 6-game road streak that we got going on here to be able to do that which is great, and I'm pretty proud of them on that part.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit. We'll talk about you guys are about to come up on game 2 of that 6-game road trip. We'll talk about that in a second. But health-wise, how are you doing? I know it's been a bit of a concern here recently. A little, knick-knack, even some major injuries as far as concussions, things like that. But how are you guys doing heading into this stretch now?
Okay. I looked at the stat the other day. We only have 2 guys who played every game this year.
Yeah.
And that's to me, to be the position that we're in, pretty much says a lot. Brevin and DeMar are the only 2 guys who played every game this year. And I didn't even expect that. To be honest with you, I thought Brevin had missed a game. For the most part, though, we'll get Evan back, which be helpful going into this, especially these next 2 games here on the road here down in Arkansas. But, we got a couple of nicks and bruises, and guys are kind of managing through what we need to be able to manage. The fortunate thing of it was, because we didn't play Saturday, we took off 3 days, almost 4 days really, to try to get some health back to us, and we just kind of recoup a little bit. I don't know if it's on pay a dividend in our timing necessarily or not, but I do think it would help us with some of the injuries to be able to get some more treatments. And then, and hopefully we get enough in the spell. Because we'll have quite a bit of time in between the games that we'll play, which is also another concern also too. But, for the most part, I think we should be good going into this weekend. Hopefully, knock on all wood, that there is in there too, so.
Yeah. So it's a 5-game road trip. I'm really considering it 4 because the 5th is right down the road at UHSP. But am I overstating it to say this is your season, basically, over the next 4 games? You guys are in 3rd place, in the conference right now, still looking up at Columbia and obviously CBC. Depending on how these next 4 games go is going to decide whether you're hosting games in the tournament or not, and positioning really is going to happen over the next 4.
No question. Yeah. No question about it. Every game from here on out, I think is big. If we want to really put ourselves as a serious contender again, we got to go win on the road. And it's going to be true to us. I think our guys are going to be up for the test, but it's going to be, if you're going to be in the top 4, or trying to put yourself as a top contender of the league, this is like that Big 12 turn, for us. We're going to be playing all the top teams in the league, here basically coming all the way up. And then you got to finish off the year with Willie Bapp and CBC at home for senior night, right before the conference tournament. So, I think our next games are going to be extremely hard and tough. And but you're exactly right. We're talking about the tougher echelon of the teams, CBC, Columbia, and Woods. You're going to get all 3 of those guys in a row, along with Willie Bapp, that's going to be in there. And it's going to be all tough games. And also, too, tough environments, which, if you put in Harrisville in that, every single one of those games are probably the toughest and best environments to play in, in our league. They have the best crowds, they have the best energy, And I mean, they're extremely good at home. And so, past years we've been a really good road team. I'm hoping that will pay some dividend to us, kind of understanding what we need to really do going forth in the deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the road trip starts on Thursday. You go to Williams Baptist, and then on Saturday, CBC. We'll talk about those two games. But one of the things is you look around the conference schedule, you and William Woods are basically travel partners. They're going to go to CBC Thursday and then Williams Baptist, so everyone's got to go through it, in some way, shape, or form. So I think it's really interesting what the standings are going to look like on Sunday of this week, because everyone's starting to play each other now.
Well, I mean, and that's just...
And you guys, if we're being honest, I mean, this is looking at it a little pessimistically, but you guys have won 4 conference games against the bottom 5 teams in the conference. Yeah. Now it gets tough. Tougher.
Sure. Yeah. No doubt. It's going to be, exactly what you just said. Woods and Columbia just played this weekend on Saturday, and Columbia went to Woods and got a big win at Woods. And a comeback from behind at that. CBC Woods plays Thursday. We play really bad. Then it flip-flops on Saturday. And I'm not for sure who has Columbia this week. I think, they might play at the bottom half of the league. But and then the following week, we go to Woods. Mm-hmm. And then the following week, we go to Columbia. Yeah. And they've got to go back and play each other also, too. And then Columbia's got to go to CBC. And CBC had already previously beat Columbia. So, there's going to be a lot of jockeyiness that's kind of going around, because outside of CBC, everybody's got at least one loss. And now Woods got 2 losses. But if we handle what we're supposed to be handle, you can separate yourself a lot because of what you already have kind of ahead. Is if you're able to go and you sweep this week and, and say if Woods goes and beats Columbia or CBC also too, that puts a lot of pressure. I mean, CBC's got probably 2 arguably the hardest games coming up here, bar none, and it's going to be back-to-back almost. And like this for us also too, and so, if anything, man, it's exciting. Mm-hmm. That's the part I think that it is. It's exciting. It's exciting to be able to see, because as a competitor, that's what you want. You want to be able to play. You want to be able to compete, hostile environments. And I think that's the fun part of the sport. I think the beauty thing about sport is things as such as this. I think if we get caught up in some of the jockeyiness back and around, then you kind of lose the spell of what's in front of you right now, and it's the excitement of the competition.
And it's an opportunity for you guys the next 5 games on the road, because I think you can safely say the teams that go on the road and steal victories on the road are the ones that are going to be at the top. CBC's already done that against Columbia, went into Columbia and beat them. So now, the standings are going to be determined by who can win on the road. A lot of people can win at home. Who can win on the road? And you guys have an opportunity now to do that.
Well, and we got to be able to get one back, because we gave one to Columbia at home. Right. That was a big one right there. Is now you got to go to Columbia and beat Columbia at Columbia, which we've done, but also too, it's
not easy.
It's going to be hard, and then you got to go to Woods and go to CBC and go to everybody else. You still got to go back and play Pharmacy at Pharmacy, which is still a difficult place, and then Hannibal at Hannibal is always a difficult place. So you're still going to have to go and do those type of things, but. Again, I think it's exciting, man. I think it's probably the most excited I've been in a long time is to sit there and say that, hey, we're in a position that we're putting ourselves in position and we just know we're going to go, and you just need to go 1-0.
Yep.
And if you can't go 1-0, then you got to make sure you figure out how to go 1-0 each time.
Yep. Big week starts with a trip to Walnut Ridge on Thursday. Obviously, Williams Baptist not battling at the top of the conference right now, but Walnut Ridge is no joke. Playing down there, that crowd, that's going to be a test for your team, no question. Even if Williams Baptist isn't currently at the top of the standings,
well, it's going to be a battle test for us anyway, with certain circumstances about to happen. And so, but I believe in our team, man. I think our team, our staff, is going to be prepared, and they're going to be ready, and they're going to be understanding what's going to be tasked, is going to be needed to be able to take care of what we need to take care of. Josh Austin is probably one of my favorite guys in the league. And, his teams and ours have always battled tremendously over the years at their place or at our place. And they have, I think, probably arguably the most electric because there's nothing else in the world it really to do besides maybe cow tipping. And Josh and I kind of talk about that every once in a while to go throw hay bales and go cow tipping, which I've never done. But I heard it could be a good time or it might be a folk tale too. But either way that it goes in that part, though, I think our staff and our players are going to be ready. And I know that him, Josh Austin, and his staff and players are going to be ready also too. But I have the utmost understanding and feel that we're going to be prepared and understanding what we need to be able to do going into that game and be able to handle whatever adversities will come about from it.
One game at a time, but since we won't talk till next Tuesday on the Coaches Show, let's talk a little bit about CBC.
Yeah.
Undefeated in the conference, and it's CBC.
Yep.
It's Missouri Baptist. Exactly. Maybe not this, but let's not go there. Not there.
I want to serve them out.
Let's not go there. But this game is going to be a battle.
It's Clash of the Titans. Both of us is arguing been at the top. And here's the thing. I think in competitive environments, when you know what's at the top and what's going to end up taking place, it's going to be a great game. I think again, Sam has done a phenomenal job putting together, losing everybody, really only bringing back Devin Foster that really has most minutes played, and they to come back in, they to be 4-0 in the league, and they to do that, and they to do what they did at Columbia to Columbia. And having down 30 at one point in time, they're very, very dynamic. There are a lot of guards. They got a lot of skill. They can really score it. And they're going to put a pressure on us to be able to be a certain way defensively. But I think there's advantages that we have in our size and our abilities also too. And so it's going to be another great game, another great environment. And I think there's going to be another game that, we got to get them at their place and be able to see what we can get done and be able to execute a game plan the exact same way we have been all year. But, I'm looking forward to another really great game in a hostile environment for us to be able to go in there and be able to see if we can't get another one.
Exciting week, man. Good luck.
Appreciate it, boss.
All right, that's Preston Ingram, and this has been the Coaches Show on the Spartan Digital Network.